if a child suddenly die, they didn't have time to understand the nature of life and death.
Hmm.
So many might get trapped in that confusion as well. So let's see if in the course of these gatherings we find out what can we do for these children and how can we assist these children, and is there anything we can do for the children who are alive on earth if they suddenly die, so that they don't feel lost after death. So that this is something that, as you were talking, it was coming up and saying, how is gonna, that child, that little child that had your like, how is gonna possibly know the nature of life and death if he didn't have maybe enough time to experience on earth to find out. Uh,
Hmm.
so they choose to just come for that short period of time.
Right.
They don't come with the idea of I want to do everything like you and I we decided to do, like experience detachment, and then after the experiencing detachment, gradually get more and more awakened about what we truly are. All of these choices that we made before coming, many souls, they feel like they just want to taste it. They just want to a little taste of separation, a little taste of how it feels to go there. So they choose to come and say, at the age of 1 year, I want to get back because I don't want to go through the whole thing again.
My question is, if you can, you don't have to do it now, but find if you can channel and ask why the guides of these children that are stuck aren't being guided to the other side. What is keeping them here? That's what I'm curious about. Because, like I said,
That's something I was questioning myself as well when you were talking. That same
yeah,
question I was questioning myself. So if they decide to come here temporarily,
yeah,
why when they pass, there is nobody there waiting for them to pick them up?
right. That's what I would like to
And they
know.
get there lost and stuck.
It doesn't make sense to me
Doesn't make
unless,
sense, no? Doesn't.
right. Because
Uh,
that question, I've always had that question, like, why?
me
Why
too, love,
children?
me too.
It
And
doesn't make any
especially
sense to me.
we have also this huge sensitivity towards children because
Yeah,
they didn't even have time to process anything. So
right.
why they are left there alone?
Some souls, like some women will get pregnant and then they'll have stillbirths. It's because the soul decided, you know what, I'm not ready yet. So,
They change their mind.
or like if women miscarry, the souls of the children will still hang around their mothers.
Oh yeah,
And they'll choose when they're ready to come back, whether or not. There'll be a few, depending on, there'll be a few children that are like, all right, you don't want to do it, I'm going to do it. My turn, you're tapping out, okay. So that I understand. It's when they pass why they're stuck here. I've never been able to figure that out. Never.
uh,
Well, when, all right, so when, before I found out my dad died, my dad was never really in my life. Before I found out he died, I was trying to contact the guardian angels, my guardian angels, because I really wanted to be able to speak with them and hear them. So what happened was I kept having dreams about my father. And then I finally looked him up because I knew he had moved. I looked him up and I found out he had died a few years prior. But in my dreams, he kept telling me, I don't know, I kept dreaming about it. I can't really remember until I found out he died. Then after I was able to open up through my spirit guides, I'll never forget it because this happened in like a 12-hour period. I was laying in bed and I started hearing my grandmother come through. And I was like, I'm questioning myself, because sometimes when you're channeling, it could be in your voice or it could be in somebody else's voice. This was my grandmother, like my grandmother. And then the next morning I woke up and it was like something turned on in my head. It was like a radio, and it was like every station all at once. So I was like, oh my God, it was so overwhelming. Then my dad came through, and all I kept, and I was harboring so much anger because he was not around my entire life. And I kept hearing, I'm sorry, Allie. I'm sorry, because that's what my family calls me, Allie. Sorry, Allie. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And finally, I just remember going upstairs and putting my head down and screaming at him on the top of my lungs, screaming at my father, why weren't you here for me? You have no right to be here now. You know, just all of this stuff that I needed to get out. I said to my angels, I'm like, okay, this is like too much. And I didn't know how to turn it down. And I completely shut it off for a while. So now when I get messages, it comes in very gentle. But that first opening was like somebody put a bomb in my head and just, and it was everything all at once. Now, as far as my father's concerned, and this is amazing to me, he started coming to me in dreams, and we were able to work out everything in our visitations. And I don't dream about him anymore because I finally was able to forgive him for not being there. You know, and I think that's really amazing that you can always still get closure with your loved ones if you didn't have a good relationship with them, because they need that closure to close out their karma, and we need that closure to close out our karma. So it was, yeah, amazing. Like I just thought of all that right now. It's just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah. But you asked, I mean, if you're asking for it, they're gonna be like, yeah, you could have this, but they don't prepare you for it. It was insane. It was so much. And it was so loud. And I wasn't afraid of it. It was just, I couldn't think because all of them came to me all at once.